Alright, I'm going to start this one off by saying I knew very little about hockey before playing this game. I cannot stress how little I knew the sport of hockey and how little I knew the NHL. I only knew that the Pens exist and the Avalanche exist, and the time is about 7 past Vasilevsky because he let up 7 goals in one of the Stanley Cup Finals games. But recently, NHL compilations started popping up on my YouTube recommended page, so I decided to watch them and give it a fair chance, and honestly, it's not bad. I mean, NHL in real life isn't bad, so I should give hockey a fair chance. To me, NHL and hockey really is just a mix of soccer and football on ice, and who doesn't like that? I mean, throw some ice in the mix, you'd like that. But knowing EA Sports past with Madden and how they seem to mess up the game time and time again, this game could go one of 3 ways. It's either going to be the best game of the series, it's going to be absolute crap, or it's going to be ruined with DLCs. I mean, look at F1 and how they completely messed up that game. So I decided to dive into NHL 23 and see if I can truly become an NHL fan, and here are my honest thoughts about NHL 23 from a beginner's perspective. With being a beginner, my first problem started at the title screen with not knowing who the title athletes were. Now obviously they're supposed to be good athletes, they're supposed to be good at hockey, like big in hockey, but I didn't know who they were. I knew one was from Anaheim, I think, and the other one was from Canada, but I have a theory that Canada doesn't actually exist. It's like Wyoming, so I don't know if she's actually real. But whenever you get into the main menu, in one of the corners you can see her name, so this is obviously proving that she is a real person, but that was one of my problems solved, but I still don't know the name of the dude. Now, the footage of the game that you guys are seeing isn't from my actual first time playing, but if you guys do want to see me playing games live, go to my Twitch, more on that at the end.
Shot scores! Really good release here, James. He doesn't have that puck on his stick long, and it's past the goalie. Didn't look like he had a lot of room there, James, but he goes back, makes the save, and that's what they needed to get the win.
Getting past the main menu, the first thing I saw was controller difficulty options and the actual difficulty. The nice thing that I thought about NHL 23 was that it has beginner help options, which are basically little guides on what you should do. So for the shootout, you flick your right stick down, or you use your left trigger for deke. The problem I had was that I set the actual game difficulty to semi-pro, which, whenever I went into the shootout mode to try to, learn the game and learn the controls, was a bad idea because I couldn't score on the goalie, which in NHL 23 is pretty hard to begin with, but this guy was blocking absolutely everything. So I then decided to see if it was just me or the game mode, and I decided to choose the game mode next, where it was the rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Colorado Avalanche and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Later figuring out that it was mostly the difficulty, but also mostly me because I sucked at this game. So I decided to put the difficulty back on rookie before starting my career mode, or as known in NHL 23 as the Be a Pro mode. So really quickly, I'm going to dig in to NHL 23's Be a Pro mode. As for a career mode ran by EA Sports, it's the most in-depth career mode I've ever seen ran by EA Sports, because Madden's career modes aren't that in-depth, and F122's first career mode really isn't that in-depth either. So I liked it on that part. When I first loaded into Be a Pro mode, I realized that the character customization options as well for your actual player weren't that bad. So I customized my character knowing as little as I did about hockey. I didn't know anything about equipment, and I started in the European Champions League. At the time, I just called Champions League European NHL. But another thing that I really like about NHL 23's Be a Pro mode is how you can be in depth with the GM, you can be in depth with the coaches and the management, and how the media just kind of revolve the story around you. So if you're doing bad, they're going to say you're doing bad, but if you're doing good, they're going to say you're obviously doing good, stuff like that. So that's something I really liked about NHL's Be a Pro mode. That's something that I really like, and something that I really think that EA did a very good job on with this. But as I started playing through the Be a Pro mode, I realized that there's a bunch of different terms in hockey that really didn't make sense to me and that I really didn't know. Like lines, shifts, dekes, etc. Like what in the National Hockey hell is a deke? Am I even saying that word right? Deke? Deke? But another thing that I really like about this game is that, once again, with the beginner controller options, just hold LT and move around, and then you can easily do a fake, because that's really all it is. A deke is another name for an offensive move that's just faking the puck out, slinging it from one side to another. How did it even get the name of deke? Like, that's still something that is new to me, but anyways, going on the lines and shifts. So, from what I figured out, a line and a shift are, and you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but a line is basically like the lineup of the roster that you're going to use, like a baseball lineup. And a shift is basically how long you're on the ice for, and then the substitutes come in, take over for you while you rest, stuff like that. So that's what I figured out that those two terms probably mean, but I'm also probably wrong at what they mean. Also, can somebody explain to me what offsides is and how that works? Because I still have no idea what it means. And apparently the NHL world doesn't either. But my interpretation of offsides is in NHL 23 after playing the game is that as an offensive player, you cannot cross the upper blue line until the puck has crossed the blue line. If you cross that line and you don't have the puck, then it's going to be offsides. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think offsides is in NHL. The last thing I'm going to hit on about NHL 23 is the TV broadcast aspect and the stats graphics. For EA Sports, I thought that this was a very, very good thing that they did. I thought that they were like very interesting to see in the way that they did them as well. It made it look like I was watching like an actual TV broadcast. So that's good on them for doing that. I honestly really like that aspect of it. The last thing I'm also going to hit on is there are bugs in this game. Like the offsides warning or the icing warning will sometimes stay on the screen. And the stats graphics, if they're on for too long, they'll also stay on the screen as well while you're playing. I don't know if this is just a me thing, if it happens to me or if it happens to everybody. But those are just the things about the graphics that I noticed. Overall, as a newbie to NHL, as a newbie to NHL 23, I thought this game was very enjoyable. The soundtrack, whenever you loaded up the game too, is honestly awesome, but that comes from somebody who actually likes that genre of music. It's very enjoyable to play, and the beginner controller options make it that way. I mean, the help that you get from the controller in the game is very enjoyable, and it can actually be competitive and stuff like that. In the game modes, there seem to be a lot of them, and I do want to explore the international gameplay and everything like that. I just wish that they would add in the option where you could play for your national team and be a pro. I think that that'd honestly be pretty cool. I do hope, of course, that I help somebody find NHL 23 from this video. I hope I help somebody get into the game and everything. But if you guys want to see me do other things like this for other games, please let me know. I'm willing to play through them. I'm willing to play them on stream as well. My Twitch can be found in the description below, so come over, watch me play that. Come over, watch me play ATS every Thursday. So that's going to be a thing. But other than that, like, comment, and subscribe if you guys did like this, because I plan on making more stuff like this. Thanks, y'all. I'll see you later. Peace out.
Colorado's got it in the offensive zone. Quick pass to McCarr. Turns that one away. Jari's going to cover up the puck here for a whistle. He makes a safe play and kills the play before any other damage can be done.